As the title says, can you be too successful with this hobby that it can become boring? This is Dr. Novak, and I want to welcome you to my channel. You know, I thought about that, and I was just thinking about my channel. I've been doing this from 2015, made hundreds and hundreds of videos for the channel. I also have a second channel where I do audiophile stuff for older equipment. But this is not my only hobby, I guess I'm telling you. I have other hobbies. And I was thinking about that, and I was looking at my aquariums, and I've set up hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, 1,000 aquariums easily in my lifetime. And as I was looking at the aquariums, the success, like the 90-gallon, for example, you know, the plants are doing great. It gets 2 bubbles a second for the CO2. I don't even pay attention to it. I can look over and look at my meter. It says 377 ORP with a pH of 7.10. I just calibrated the 2 probes maybe about 3-4 weeks ago, so I know, you know, that they're calibrated and everything's reading right. And I realized that, like, tomorrow's Friday, I'll be doing my water changes, you know. And I was thinking, I'm doing water changes not because I have to, it's because I want to. I realize it gives me something to do, because the tanks that I have set up to show you, they're on autopilot. And actually, it gets boring. This has happened to me in the past, believe me. Because of the way I have set up everything, the plants are growing great. They're not dying. I don't need to buy new plants. The Harnworth in the goldfish aquarium keeps growing to the point that every 2 to 3 weeks I got to clean it out, or it will start occupying the space that the goldfish need to swim in. The goldfish aquarium that's in the antique tank, I just did a video on that one. You got a canister filter that has to be cleaned maybe every 3-4 months. It gets boring, so you make up something to do, like, okay, I'll do a water change. Does it need it? No. Could I skip it? Yes. But it gives me something to do, because when I do the water change, then I can clean the glass with the glass cleaner, which you don't really have to do very often, but I do. And the antique goldfish aquarium, I clean the glass more because it's being exposed to sun, long duration of light periods for 14 hours a day. Plus it has direct sunlight. I'm trying to grow the algae, so the algae will grow on the glass because I want the goldfish to eat it. But to be honest with you, it makes it boring. And I'll tell you why. I can't run to a fish store and buy a new fish. You go to a fish store, you look at all the new fish, you may see something you like, you realize, well, none of my fish have died. That happened to me tons of time in the past. Damn. You say, if the fish would die, then I have a reason to go to the fish store and buy new fish, right? That's part of the hobby. That's the ambiance of the hobby. Going to the fish store, your pet store, your local, you know, shooting the breeze with them, finding a new fish. The only way I can get new fish if I make another tank. But if I'm looking to buy new fish for the aquariums I have, well, they're already stocked up. The plants are growing, so I don't have to run out and buy any new plants. This happens to me all the time. And it's going to happen to you. When you're successful, I realize I just buy things, like for my channel, like lights or something, because it gets boring. Like, what can I do except start another tank? But I know if I start another tank, I'm going to end up in the same situation I'm at right now. Unless I had a basement or something where I could set up tanks, I would. I would set up a lot of tanks. That was one thing I really miss about doing lab work with, aquariums. You had 20, 30, 60 aquariums, and it was fun. But in your own home, if you're in a basement, yeah, you can do aquariums, but how many aquariums do you want, and how many is enough? And if you're restricted like I am, and like probably several of you are, you're restricted on maybe 1 or 2 aquariums or 3 aquariums like me. What do? You can't run to the fish store anymore. I can't buy fish because if my fish are dying, I can't buy nothing. If they're not getting sick, I can't buy chemicals. Okay? If the plants are growing, I can't go out and buy new plants. All right. So it gets boring. So success does have a big downfall in this hobby. It gets boring. Let me explain myself if you think I'm not right. I remember a long time ago, I bought a Rolex watch. It's over 22 years ago. Bought a Rolex watch, right? And I remember I bought it, won it. I bought a Rolex watch. And I like watches. Okay? But I realized when I bought that Rolex, every time I looked at a watch, I would say to myself, what do I need that for? I got a Rolex. What do I need to buy that for? And as the years went on, you realize, I got a Rolex. What do I need to buy that for? What do I need to buy that watch for? Just for something different? I got a damn Rolex. I've been wearing it for 20 years. It's still working. What do I need that for? I go in any Rolex dealer and have the thing completely redone and look like brand new for about $800, and it'll be like a brand new watch. What do I need to buy another watch for? It made the excitement of you would buy a watch that didn't cost a lot of money, and a few years later, or 2 years later, whatever, you could say, you know what, I want to buy that Seiko, or I want to buy that Steinhardt, or, because it was an inexpensive watch. I noticed that too with stereo equipment. When you buy inexpensive stereo equipment, you constantly can upgrade because it wasn't the best. It was mediocre or low line stereo equipment. And this always then gave you, after a year or two, you could always say, I'm going to upgrade my cables, or I'm going to upgrade my turntable or my amp. Or it gave you something because you knew that you could upgrade and improve. But then when I improved my system with top-notch equipment, after I got my PhD, it was a present, okay? Once I got top-notch equipment, well, where am I going to go from there? Once you start getting like real good equipment, Jeff Rowland, Conrad Johnson, your audio research, your top-notch equipment, there's really not much room to go anymore unless you're going to just spend outrageous money because you want to. It kind of stops you in your tracks when you've bought the best cables out there that you could afford. The speakers are performing up at their max. The hobby kind of just stops then. You don't have to keep spending money like a lot of hobbyists do. It's the same thing with this fish hobby. The plants are growing great in the 90-gallon. They're going great in the Lanai goldfish aquarium. The fish aren't getting sick. They're not dying. The plants are growing. My CO2, because I'm only using like 2 bubbles per second, will last 6 to 8 months before I get to refill the tank and run into Orlando to go fill it up. Something to do, something to get me involved. And you wind up losing that what what gave you the fun of being in the hobby. I know it can go the opposite way. If you're doing terrible and you keep buying fish, then you finally throw the towel in because you're wasting your money. But also, success has its downfall. In other words, it's a yin and yang. When you become so successful and you don't have to worry about cleaning your substrate, you don't really have to worry about, oh, if I'm going to change water once a month, once every 6 months, I just add water to aquarium. Maybe I won't change water for once a year. Whatever your aquarium husbandry is going to be. But when you become successful, like I've said in my videos, like with the 90 gallon, it's actually boring. The fish aren't dying, they're there. It's like, you know, I'd like to get new fish, but I can't because they may not go with the fish I already have. And this is what happens where people keep overcrowding their tanks with fish because they realize that they'd like to have new fish and they can't. So they overcrowd because nothing's dying, so you could do that turnover. And aquarium stores, if you think about it, they don't want you to be successful. They don't make any money when you're successful. They make money when you're not successful. But they want to keep you successful, but not successful. So they want you to keep it coming in. You know what I mean? They want you to make sure that you're a customer for life. And I remember there were time periods where I wouldn't even go to an aquarium store for years. I had no reason. Nothing was dying. Nothing was getting sick. It's almost like, okay, I'm tired of these angels. What do I do with them now? You know, you have to sell them or trade them in, or you're just tired of them. You get tired of something when you've had it for years and years and years. I know this probably sounds crazy to a lot of the beginners that are out there listening to me talk, but when you set up things and you find out that the mechanics don't fail, like I use, for example, like the Rolex, 20 years later, it's still running, telling time, never need to new maintenance. You can wear it every day of the week. You realize maybe I did a mistake. I had fun buying new watches. It was fun, exciting. Christmas time, you could go out and buy a new watch. You can't do that anymore. Why should I? I got this watch. It's a damn Rolex. You know, nothing's happening to it. It's running for years and years and years. You know, same way with these tanks. I realize this is getting boring. You know, I know you're probably not looking at it because a lot of yous are still new. You're setting up your plenums or whatever. It's all exciting. That's why I said the neatest part of setting up an aquarium is making the plenum. You're planning everything out. Oh, how is this going to fit? Where am I going to set the bubbler? Am I going to use? That's the fun part of an aquarium to me, is setting it up. You know, putting the lights on, starting out where the plants are real tiny, and then waiting patiently for them to grow. And that's, to me, the fun part. But once you get like the 90 gallon or you get the goldfish aquarium, nothing's happening. The fish are living, you're doing your job, you're making sure the fish are alive, you're feeding them. Boring. I can't go out and buy fish. Why go to the fish store? Like today, I could run to a fish store, maybe look. Why? What am I going to buy? Nothing's died. Nothing's sick. Can't do anything. So I thought I'd make this video because it's kind of like one of those double-edged swords or yin and yang, that being successful with your aquarium could make the hobby very dull for you. You don't have to keep buying stuff. It can be boring. Literally become boring. So I'm just letting you know, with success comes boredom. So until next time, this is Dr. Novak. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say with this video, that you may be more successful than you thought, and you may wind up losing the interest in the hobby because you are too successful and the challenge is gone and the excitement leaves. Believe it or not, there is excitement in failure. So until next time, this is Dr. Novak. Thank you very much for watching and letting me kind of rant about being too successful will maybe destroy the hobby for you.